brothers and sisters. Jesus' teachings in the Gospel of today concern questions we all face. How do we deal with enemies, and who should we love? We are to understand that the command to love enemies, do good to those who hate, bless those who curse, and pray for those who scorn, is not hypothetical, is not theoretic, but is to be taken as the standard, the rule, the norm for those who are hated, scorned, set aside, and cursed. St. Luke has Jesus demand of his followers a standard for human relationships that relates going beyond the norm of reciprocity. Disciples who are not to let selfishness or ill will determine their response to mistreatment. Any limitation on the standard must come from the best interest of the wrongdoer, sinner, even evildoer. This principle presupposes the new quality of relationships that Jesus makes possible. Giver and forgiver, because we have been given and forgiven so much. The command to love one's enemy replaces the concern for Libis on whom we treat as neighbors with a concern for inclusiveness, for fullness, for extensiveness. Treat everyone as neighbors. Treat everyone as a neighbor. Such peacemaking partakes of the very character of God. God's love is indiscriminate. God's love is unselective. God's love is undifferentiated. The first session of the Lucan sermon consists of blessings and woes, which we were listened from the Gospel of Sunday Mass of last week. This Gospel is connected with the Gospel of today. The first and second sections of Jesus' teachings to his followers talk about two principles that pose stumbling blocks for most modern Christians. That are the rejection of privilege based on wealth and the rejection of retaliation or retribution or vengeance that produce violence. These principles are totally opposed to the assumptions or acceptances of the marketplace and the media that shape our culture. The wealthy are privileged, and conflict requires that one show strength through retaliation, retribution, or vengeance. Jesus' teachings are not absolute passivity. not absolute passivity, but insistent action to undermine hostility and violence. Jesus taught a new attitude toward possessions and persons in need, and also taught a new response to hostility. The connection of the first and second sections of the Lucan sermon, which deal with poverty, wealth, and hostility respectively, also suggests the relationship between the two problems. One, oppressions of the poor, materialism, and two, the presumption that problems can be settled by violence and force are all related. Therefore, Jesus' teachings to his disciples require imaginative, creative, insistent, but non-violent responses to the problems that have accepted such bitter fruit in our own time. The golden rule, the golden principle, or the ultimate principle is not that we do as we would want done, but is that we must do as God would do. St. Luke bases this morality in the true attitudes and the compassionate actions of God. As God is kind to all creatures, even those who are not kind, even wicked, so are the disciples to be. Through the gospel of today, may God make each of us to become an imitator of the kindness of God toward the world, and to live a new attitude and a new quality of relationship toward all peoples. Amen.